Yo, what's going on, y'all? V-Rob here. It is currently 12 o'clock a.m. on Tuesday. And fam, I want to break down episodes 3 and 4 of The Last Dance, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls documentary on their 1998 season, along with some side stories here and there about Michael Jordan's earlier career and also careers such as Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. We have also seen Phil Jackson. Starting off with episode 3, you guys, it obviously started off talking about Dennis Rodman, and fam, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have always been a huge Dennis Rodman fan, but I personally did not know that much about his own personal life and how he got to where he was with the Pistons, with the Spurs, with the Chicago Bulls, with the Lakers throughout his entire NBA career. So I thought it was really interesting for this episode to take a turn and talk about Dennis Rodman and how he came up. Obviously, about Dennis Rodman, you guys, he grew up in Oklahoma. He had a very, very rough childhood, you guys. His father walked out on the family, y'all. And he was actually kicked out of his mom's house at the age of 18. He lived on the streets for about 2 years. He actually stole over 50 watches while working at the local airport. Y'all, I actually looked that up in my own personal time. And he actually then got an opportunity to go to Southwestern Oklahoma State University. There, he was a phenomenal, and I mean a phenomenal basketball star, y'all. And the highlights, he was very, very aggressive, this and that, you guys. He told a bunch of his teammates once he got to Detroit, they did not know what living meant until you live on the edge, y'all. He did not have a bad boy reputation until he got to Detroit, which I thought was very interesting because he was viewed as the reputation of the worst bad boy out there. You know what I mean, y'all? And so he played a huge role in the Detroit Pistons going to the 1988 NBA Finals, in which they beat the Boston Celtics to get there. That was a huge, huge turning point, y'all, for the Pistons and for the NBA. Then they flip-flop into the next season, the 1989 season, and they talk about the Chicago Bulls with head coach Doug Collins with fam. Before this, I did not know that much about Doug Collins. Doug Collins is a straight-up G, y'all. I think anybody can agree they would want to play with Doug Collins, especially if you were in the position like Michael Jordan, one of the most famous athletes at the time, just making a name for himself. You would want Doug Collins as a coach, y'all. He loved Michael. He did anything to help Michael. And it talks about the 1989 playoffs in which, obviously, Michael Jordan, the Bulls, played the Cleveland. Before we continue this video, I just want to let you guys know, no matter who you are, no matter where you're watching, I believe in you. I believe in your dreams, I believe in your passion, and I believe in your instincts. I believe in you and your journey to greatness. If you want to help my journey to greatness, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me, and thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of this video. Cavaliers. A lot of people picked the Cleveland Cavaliers to win that series. It was a very solid team with Mark Price and others. And this one reporter had a really good story. It was right before Game 5 in Cleveland. It was a 5-game series because it was earlier in the playoffs. And the reporter said that Jordan pointed at me, and I was the one who predicted that the Bulls would lose in 3 games. Said, we're done with you. Pointed at the other reporter who said the Bulls would lose in 4 and said, we're done with you. And pointed at the reporter who said the Bulls would lose in 5 and said, we're about to be done with you. That was just like the most iconic Jordan, you know what I'm saying? The most iconic Jordan story of the night. They go into Game 5, y'all. Very, very competitive game in Cleveland, Ohio. And it comes down to the last play. They're down by 1 with about 3 seconds to go. And you guys obviously know what happens. They asked him after the game, Jordan, basically what was going through his mind. Him doing the fist pump, y'all, was him telling everyone, like, get the out of here for all of y'all so we couldn't make it go to hell, y'all. I mean, Jordan was livid. Jordan was livid. He felt like that moment right there, in my opinion, was Jordan's next step to superstardom. They asked Doug Collins after the game, what was it like, that final play? What did you draw up? He said basically the call was, give the ball to Michael Jordan and get the fuck out of the way. Everyone else, just back away. So that was a really, really good story, y'all. They then talk about the history between the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, the rivalry that they had for many, many of those years, y'all. 1989, the Pistons actually beat the Bulls in 6 games. They went on to sweep the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals. Really, really big deal there, y'all. They then went on to talk more about Dennis Rodman's career, getting traded to the San Antonio Spurs, and then getting signed to the Chicago Bulls the year after. Phil Jackson was asked, what was it like the first time you met Dennis Rodman? He said Dennis didn't get up to shake my hand. He didn't really even say anything. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I loved this Dennis Rodman part of the story, you guys. He talked about dating Madonna, which, like, huge W. Can we please get a huge W in the chat, please? That is amazing. And then they go into the 1998 season. Scotty's making a return after 35 games. The Bulls are currently 24-11. They're rolling. And Scotty gets back. He kind of gets the shine away from Dennis Rodman, who is viewed as the second option on that team, the second most popular player those first 35 games of the season. And Dennis Rodman comes to practice. He tells Phil, he tells Michael, I need a break. Midway through the season, about a month ago to the All-Star break, and he just straight up tells him, I need a break. And so Phil says, we're going to give you 48 hours. Dennis says, I need to go to Vegas. He goes to Vegas, definitely more than 48 hours. He's gone for about 3 to 4 plus days. And Jordan goes and picks him up through his hotel room. And I forget the name of the girl that Rodman was dating at the time, y'all. It was like a model or some sort. And she hears a knock on the hotel room door. It's Michael Jordan. She said she's freaking out. She has to go, cover underneath all the sheets on the couch. She's freaking out. Michael Jordan walked in, and Jordan said that he didn't want to say, the stuff that was on the bed or what Rodman was doing in the bed, but he had to give him the practice. Rodman shows up to his first practice back from his little vacation in pajamas, and then they do this. You guys, obviously, if you played football or basketball in middle school or high school, the Indian run. And the goal of the workout is for conditioning, obviously. You start out with like 15 people in a line, 15 for basketball, and you have to wait till everyone from the end gets up to the front, and you have to do it all the way through until everyone gets a chance to be in the front. And so Jordan pulls everyone to the side, and he's like, we are jogging this. There's no way I'm going to be doing all this conditioning stuff for Rodman being a BICCH. And missing out the last 4 days being in Vegas. And so they're mildly jogging. Gets up to Rodman. Kerr's all in it and this and that. Rodman gets in front, y'all. Jordan says it took him about 4 laps to get up to Rodman. And they couldn't get him. It took about 4 laps. Rodman was literally out sprinting the entire team, y'all, after spending 4 straight days in Vegas. I think we need to take a look into consideration of that, y'all. But obviously, Rodman had a lot of mental health, illness-related issues. Throughout the time, he actually tried, he almost killed himself, y'all. He tried suicide, and he said he was very close to doing so, y'all. And this was obviously in between the stages of him about to leave the Pistons and then him getting traded to the San Antonio Spurs. So it was a very, very deep, dark moment in Rodman's life, but it really feels like it picked himself back up once he got traded to Chicago. Also, what I thought was really interesting is they talked about this towards the end of the video, or the documentary, was Phil Jackson and Dennis Rodman's relationship. He was talking about how he could build a relationship with Dennis Rodman, and how they really built a relationship was through their love of Native American history. Phil Jackson actually grew up in Montana. They talked then about, in Phil Jackson, like his side story in episode 4, which is really interesting, y'all. Very solid college player. Played for the New York Knicks. He was really a hippie. You know what I'm saying? In the early 70s, Phil Jackson was a hippie, y'all. Did psychedelics, was into acid. You know what I'm saying? Dressed like a hippie and this and that. Then they talked about his coaching career after he won 2 championships with the New York Knicks. He actually coached in Puerto Rico for his first coaching gig. And those stories, y'all, were crazy. He talked about this one story that one of the opposing teams killed a chicken in the street, smeared the blood onto towels, and threw the towels at their bus while leaving after beating that team. Also talked about one mayor shooting a referee in the leg for a missed call. So I would love to be there. I would love for them to do a documentary just on the Puerto Rico you know what I'm saying, Basketball Association, whatever it was called back then. They then talked about Phil Jackson then going to the CBA, and then obviously Jerry Krause signing him to the Chicago Bulls as an assistant coach at the time, learning the triangle offense, this and that. And yeah, it was very interesting. Growing up in Montana, Phil Jackson actually played with a lot of Native American kids. He's always been very interested, and he actually did a lot of those practices, believing everyone is one. He brought that team structure that he learned from the Native American heritage side of him to the Chicago Bulls. And a lot of players such as Steve Kerr, Scottie Pippen said it really had a positive influence on the team. But that is what I got, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment down your favorite part about this, y'all. I am loving this. We still have 6 episodes left to go, y'all. We're only 4 episodes in. Comment down your favorite episodes so far, you guys. Personally, for me, I would say it'd be the Dennis Rodman one, episode 3. Episode 5 is rumored to be a lot about Kobe Bryant, so I'm really interested to see where they go for that, you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. Stay blessed. Leave a like and subscribe if you guys are new. Stay blessed. Stay healthy. Keep washing your hands. We will get through this very, very, very soon. And VARMY is out this thing, y'all. All love 2020. Peace.